Oh, hi there. A little late to the party on this one, as I am on a lot of subjects with the NHL, but I wanted to discuss the NHL's involvement in the PyeongChang games in Korea in 2018 and the fact that they've decided not to participate. I haven't heard much talk of it, but a lot of people are actually disappointed about it. I am not in the slightest. You look it up on the Google, and the NHL's official reason is they shouldn't disrupt the regular season, the chronic fatigue for the players, the fact that the IOC isn't going to pay for it, their accommodation, security, whatever, all that shazam. They're not going to pay for any of it. Those are on the surface reasons. There are other reasons why NHL caliber players cannot go to Korea. And people have to look at things from a more historical point of view. And, the basic mainstream narrative does not give the complete story to things. People have been abducted in South Korea by the North. And, there was that famous actress, I can't remember her name. Anyway, she was a South Korean actress at the time, and Kim Jong-il had abducted her. Her and her husband, who was a filmmaker. I remember watching a documentary a long time ago about it, and that is actual thing that happened. I realized Kim Jong-il is dead, but Kim Jong-un, the apple has not fallen far from the tree. And yes, the NHL would be a bit more prepared for such situation, but it could happen again just because of various factors, like the South Korean government themselves couldn't be trusted. Because let's just remember that North Korea could destroy Seoul just like that, with conventional cannon that they have up in the mountains. So taking that into consideration and looking at things from a broader point of view, and NHL players, as much as people like to say they're stupid, they don't think outside of the sport and things like that, they fucking well know. They know that they go to a country in Asia like Korea, and they got a target on their backs just for being white, for one thing, being wealthy, well off, and playing an illustrious sport. Not to mention, Koreans can be a tad sycophantic, actually, and it's just not a good idea to bring NHL caliber players over there. I completely agree with the NHL's decision to remain out of the 2018 Winter Olympics in PyeongChang. There's going to be another Olympics rolling around in 2022. I don't believe the NHL has made any statement towards that yet, but I think they're leaning towards not going to that either. Full-heartedly agree. I don't think the NHL should have much to do with it. The NHL is a North American sport that, Russia, Eastern Europe, they also contribute to, but the NHL is Canadian sport first, American second, and this is where it's situated. As you may know, a lot of NHL players that end up going to the KHL or the various leagues of that nature tend to be Russian anyway, so it's a trust issue, because we know in every country, and especially in places like Russia or Korea or Beijing or Hong Kong or any of those places, it's the gangs that run things. It's not some businessman in a suit. Businessman in a suit is part of the gang. They're just the vague, authority figure that you don't know anything about, but in Asia, usually you take that suit off and they got tattoos everywhere and they're just the slimiest, greasy looking fuckers on the planet. And do we really want our NHL caliber players going over there? Fuck no. I mean, I feel bad for the lesser known hockey players, or the ones that have no chance of making it to the NHL in the first place, who have to go there to, build some sort of reputation, participating for the hockey as a sport, and trying to make something of themselves, and getting themselves in heady situation. Like, I know a few years back, Claude Lemieux, there was some vague story about him going to China and playing hockey over there, and they didn't talk much about it. He was a real tough nut. I think he just got the short end of the stick, and he was forced to go play there. I can't imagine it being fun, because although Canada produces the best hockey players in the world, the Chinese, they have this thing about sports, all sports, that they just have endless bodies to constantly push to the limits in quite brutal and barbaric ways to make them perform their absolute best. And most often they fall apart, they break up, and they just can't take it anymore. And it's not that they have better players, it's just they have a giant pool of potential great players to pick from. And they'll put them through any rigorous, vicious, hard as nails program for them to get to where they are. So there is an NHL caliber team, many NHL caliber teams in Asia, but they don't play fair, and we don't consider them National Hockey League caliber. It's not that they're not physically fit, it's not that they can't, perform hockey plays and play game hockey. It's just the method of how they're able to get to where they are that we fundamentally disagree with as a nation. I'm not going to get into the specifics of that, but it is very, very brutal over there to get into sports. And there's been many known cases of Asian athletes, particularly in gymnastics and things like that, that get pushed to the limit, and they may get to be the very best, but one day they have accident or something like that, and they get discarded. Very, very cold industry over there. It's for the state. It's for the country that they live in. It is over here too, but player gets injured over here, it's just like, well, we'll patch you up, you'll be fine. These things happen. Over there, it's like, you get injured and you've disgraced the state, therefore you're out. We don't even want to know about you, we've disowned you. They're way, way colder to their players than we are over here. Like our players in the NHL are, they have to work hard. Constant training. They have to go through their own trials, but they get it a lot better over here. And that jealousy is well known, even in like Korea or China or all those places. Like, you may go, well, the Koreans themselves, they're not a poor country. They got plenty of food, wealthy country. They should be fine. But their neighbor to the north, poor as shit. I mean, it would be the same thing if, there was a neighbor between Canada and the United States that was poor as shit, that was predominantly white. I mean, you'd feel a little bit bad for him, wouldn't you? Because, most people, it's not their fault that their country's not successful. And it's not their fault that their government are particularly brutal and vicious. They just kind of have to go along with it. And that's the same thing with the North Koreans. This is my honest opinion, that the North Koreans just don't like anybody at all. They don't like the Chinese, they don't like the South Koreans, they don't like the Americans especially, they don't like the Russians, they don't like anybody. And It is a whole political mess over there, and it is very difficult to explain this to hockey fans because they are so fucking stupid in a lot of ways. Oh no, it's 20 players on the ice that decide what the game's playing. Oh, it doesn't matter if some billionaire's got, $25 million on a team winning a particular game or not. Oh no, that doesn't mean anything. Oh no, a billionaire putting money into something, he's not going to get mad if he loses. Okay, you want to believe that? You live in your simple little world, doing your simple little job, and let the critical thinking for somebody who has a fucking brain. Getting back to Korea. That would be a big major military operation, having a hockey team play over there for security of the NHL All-Stars. Sidney Crosby cannot fucking go to South Korea. For one thing, he's got fucking enough women drooling over him over here. Why the fuck are we gonna send him over to Korea to have a whole pile of fucking Asian women drooling all over him? Not that I'm saying that's a whole other situation that I'm not gonna get into, okay? I'm just saying that it's not worth it having NHL caliber players go into the Olympics. I might be more open to the idea of just a few players, depending on their circumstances and what political ties they have and economic ties they have, and just their general situation. Obviously, no Sidney Crosby, and no other elite players are going over there. Maybe some fourth liners or third liners, no big impact players could play over there. I guess that wouldn't be that big an issue. But definitely no all-star players are going over there. It's just not happening, and my opinion doesn't matter on the subject because the NHL has already made the decision. So you can disagree with me all you want. The fact is right there on NHL website saying that they will not participate in the 2018 Olympics and probably not in 2022. The reasons that they gave are reasons, but they're a small part of the bigger whole, which was the decision for them not to enter the Olympics. It's just not safe for the players. You have no idea how psychotic some people get when not only money, but popularity, celebrity status, all that moves in any direction. Just sycophants, they come out of everywhere. And they're real pathetic, parasitic people, they really are. I would not latch onto anybody. That's not how I want to make a name for myself. Anyway, so I'm just saying the NHL's decision to not be in the South Korean Olympics was the right decision, and the reasons they gave, although good enough reasons on their own, aren't the only reasons. I'm open to listen to contradiction. I've not heard any credible arguments so far. So, yeah, that's what I got. I will talk to you guys later, and have a good one.